Mr. Executive Director, are there any additions or deletions?
No, Madam Chair.
Are there any disclosures by commission and or staff?
Madam Chair.
None.
I have met with Captain Horseshoe. Did I say that?
You gotta speak up a little louder.
Oh, I have met with the Captain.
Thank you. Are there any other disclosures? I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved
Second.
and properly second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Botel,
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson,
Yes.
carries.
All matters listed under this item, this is the consent agenda. All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine and action will be taken by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council person so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Let the record reflect the presence of Commissioner Miller Anderson. Are there any items to be pulled from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Botel,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson,
Yes.
motion carries.
That ends our consent agenda. Madam Clerk, regular business.
Presentation, Inlet Grove Student Leadership Workshop.
Dana Nottingham and the students of Inlet Grove have recently completed a student leadership workshop, and we have a draft video that we've developed of that student workshop. We're using the video eventually to help grow our programs and attract some funding to try and find new funding to help us offer this workshop to other students, other schools, and expand it to reach a lot more children in Riviera Beach. Both Commissioner Battelle and Davis attended the workshop, and so this video is draft. We're still finishing it, but I just wanted to play it for the board in advance of the students and Mr. Nottingham giving you a brief presentation on the outcomes of those workshops.
My name is Dana Nottingham. I'm the founder, speaker, and workshop facilitator for the Lead, Lift, Soar Leadership Development Series. We just completed a high-energy leadership lab in Riviera Beach, and it demonstrated two principles. Number one, that the greatest untapped community and economic resource is human potential and leadership. The other point is that our students represent the greatest opportunity for change that is transformative, that is sustainable, and that is equitable.
Main activities in the building, and here the facilitator. And then that's your presentation.
My name is Scott Evans. I'm the interim executive director for Riviera Beach CRA. The teens came up with some great concepts to brand and market the marina that eventually we would like them to.
Sorry, we're just working through some technical issues.
Well, while you work through those difficulties, let me acknowledge that Chair Pro Tem is on the dais.
My name is Dana Nottingham. I'm the founder, speaker, and workshop facilitator for the Lead, Lift, Soar Leadership Development Series. We just completed a high-energy leadership lab in Riviera Beach, and it demonstrated two principles. Number one, that the greatest untapped community and economic resource is human potential and leadership. The other point is that our students represent the greatest opportunity for change that is transformative, that is sustainable, and that is equitable.
Main activities in the building, and here the facility. And then that's your presentation.
My name is Scott Evans. I'm the interim executive director for Riviera Beach CRA. The teens came up with some great concepts to brand and market the marina that eventually we would like them to present to the city council, and then we'd like to go ahead and paint those and make those projects become real world for those teens. A lot of the teens who came down today actually was the first time that they got to see our marina.
My thing is like just paint right over it because that's not gonna really show anything about this. So we decided to do Marina Village.
The most touching thing today was I opened the presentation and asked the students, when is the last time someone told you they were a genius? And most of the people said, never before. And today's event helped them to get in touch with and embrace their untapped leadership and creative genius. Lead, Lift, Soar stands for 10 exciting leadership essentials. LEAD stands for lead by example, act with discipline. LIFT stands for listen, inspire, follow, teach. And SOAR stands for align, strategy, organization, and action, and results. And so I always end the workshops with one question. Are you ready to lead, lift, soar? Thank you.
Enjoying the music. Nice little beat.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, sir.
We'd like to give you a brief update on the outcomes of our Leadership Lab. We have some special guests here today. We have Florlane Francois to my left, Jacob Warden, and Giovanni Hendricks. They're students of Inlet Grove Community High School. And on behalf of the students, I want to thank all the sponsors, CRA, River Beach, CDC, the school, and Lead, Lift, Soar. I want to give a special thanks to Scott McDermott, who's here in the audience. He's the principal of the school. And without him, we could have done very little of this. So we want to thank you very much, Scott, for that. What we'd like to do today is give you a quick update, and the students are going to give you a presentation on a teen innovation center that they designed. And the whole point of it was number one, in the leadership workshop, we learned some simple tools to help them more confidently lead, collaborate, and execute. And we applied those tools in team challenges. And two of the team challenges was a teen innovation center and a Teen Innovation Center app to support the programming of the Innovation Center. As we all know, our series is designed for all students, but the students that benefit the most are the ones that are driven, focused, and mega curious. We like to do all we can to work with the teachers to help them bloom, weather the storm, and grow. And we know that the students are tech savvy, digitally connected, culturally aware. They're born entrepreneurs, they're hands-on, they have bold aspirations. And we've learned in every workshop we do that students crave speed and simplicity, real-world experience, and actionable tools that demystify, visually simplify, and systematize the basics of leadership and teaming. In the future, there are 4 success drivers that we all focus on in working with our youth: know-how, leadership, technology, and team power. And we like to say that we're focusing on the team in STEAM, that if you desire to pursue a career in science, technology, engineering, art, and math, that your advancement will be enhanced by your ability to confidently work in a team. Part 1 of the Leadership Lab focused on tools and the team challenge. Part 2 was very interesting because it focused on a workplace simulation. The students played the role of board of directors of a nonprofit, and I played the role as their architect, translating their ideas. So the outcome of this was, one, to amplify their voice in terms of the needs of teens, and then to get into their heads in terms of how they would translate it into programming and an actual physical facility and a tech strategy. So with that, I'm going to invite Flo Lane to the podium.
Hi, good evening. My name is Flo Lane Francois. I am a junior at Inlet Grove High School. And Dana Nottingham came to Inlet Grove for the challenge. And within that challenge, he brought students to the marina and divided those students into 3 groups. And one of those 3 groups was to build an innovation center. And I was the captain of that group. And my vision for that group, for the innovation center, was to bring a purpose to Riviere for students who don't know what to do with their lives, they don't have anything to do with their lives, to come to one common place and bond and build a future for themselves. And our motto for the Teen Innovation Center is Teens with a Mission. And Teens with a Mission is basically saying that they no longer want to stay home and do nothing, just come home, go to school, eat, just a boring life. They no longer want to live a boring life. They want to be able to do something. They want to be able to have a future and say, I want to do something with my life. Our approach for the Teen Innovation Center is to architect and build stimulation and role play. That is saying that this Teen Innovation Center will have a landmark in Riviere. It will have a purpose. It will stand a purpose in those individual teens' lives. Not only those teens, but for the community. 2, to revisit Leadership Lab Team Challenge. As I said, Dana Nottingham came to Inlet Grove with a challenge. And with that challenge, we were able to build leadership characteristics and were able to bond with our fellow students that I wasn't able to bond with before. And to identify teen needs. With those needs, we need to, oh shoot, I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous.
Doing good. I'll move to the next one and then I'll come back.
Okay. To identify supportive programs. Not many teens have a supportive system behind them. They may not have a very supportive home or at school. At many schools, unlike Inlet Grove, students are seen as a number because there's 2,000 or more students at other high school, at other public schools. So if they can't have the support at school, where else can they find it? Review faculty conceptual designs. That is to say, we need to have, at the center, we need to have something to reel in the students, to reel in the teens, because we can't just have a simple floor plan or it'll just be another recreational center. We're trying to move far from a recreational center. We're trying to move somewhere where we can help our students build a future, where we can draw in more people, where we can link into students and their interests. The conceptual support and the app design. One of the other challenges we were brought to was to make an app for the teen center. And you know, social media plays a key role in all our lives today, not only teens, but as adults as well. So within this app, we talked about components and how teens can link with the world and how teens can link with each other and how teens can build with each other, because social media is a building concept. Social media is a linking concept to work to things outside our community. So that's why we wanted to have a pairing challenge with the app. Teen needs. Within my group, we talked about what do teens want? What would I want? If I was there, what would I need? What would interest me? And with that, we talked about social and educational and recreational. we didn't want just to say recreational, because recreational is just like just after school camps, or just like a basketball court, or just after school daycare. We don't want just to say recreational. We want to be able to tap in that student's educational life and their social life. We want to be able to help them be able to cope with their lives outside of school, outside of the home. And with that, we're trying to build links, like, how would I say? Like how to plan their future, basically. How can not only we help the students, how can not only we can connect to students, how can we build their future? How can we help prepare them for a better life? Counseling and supporting services. Some students, we all know, we don't know what happens behind closed doors in those students' lives. And not many students are able to turn to home and turn to their parents for support, for emotional support. So we want to be able to provide that at the school, at the Innovation Center. College and career and mentoring support. A lot of students, including me as well, don't know where their future is going to take them, or what college they want to go to, or what is going to happen tomorrow, or what are they going to do after they graduate. So we want to be able to provide a college program, or a way to help them get into college, like financial aid and college assessments, to know what do they like, because a lot of students don't know what they like. And it's, of course, it's fine not to know what you want to do, but this Innovation Center can help you push yourself to be able to say, I want to do this with my life, and I want to be better. Employment opportunities. We want to be able to provide part-time jobs, summer jobs, also help look for part-time jobs, because it's hard in this economy. It's hard for students or new-coming adults leaving high school to find a job. So we want to be able to help them find jobs. Expand career horizons. A lot of people don't know what is outside of their community. A lot of people don't know where they're going to do, if they can even make it outside their community. So with this career, we want to have programs or people or mentors to come in and to help them broaden their horizons, help them know it's not just only what's in Riviera. There's other places than Riviera Beach that can help you succeed in life. Exposure to role models. One of the components we were talking about were to have people from city council, people from mentoring programs, teaching programs, teachers, anyone who is able to come and help you and be in the career you want to be, or be in the career you are interested in. The programs, we have leadership development, college preparation, counseling support, resource center, innovation studios, and the tech strategy and app. I would like to ask my fellow peer to come up, Jacob.
Good evening, guys. My name is Jacob, and this is pretty much the faculty concept, and, well, facility concept, my bad. And, while we was there, the first day for March 29th, it was pretty much a struggle, but also fun, because they were trying to help us find who we really were as a person and as an incoming adult, and they just wanted to see where we were going to be. So we came up with the concept. This is the bubble diagram, and when you first enter, you got the tech lounge, and then there's the resource center to the right, the admin to the left, and then if you keep going up, there's the multi-purpose room, and then studio, storage, and then another studio. and then you got some food, restrooms, and then service. With the studios, you can like pretty much record, hang out, do work, and in the tech lounge, that's where you could check in and just hang out until you do stuff. And then there's gonna be outdoor activities. There's gonna be some gardens outside, and yeah. And this slide is the floor plan. And like I said, there's the entrance, the tech lounge. And in the tech lounge, what there is there's moving furniture, some TVs, and what there can be is there can be some gaming, and people can create their own games and bring it in and show them what they created. And we can have a competition with it to see who can get the highest score or something. And then with the games, like say if you do 2 hours or an hour of work, that can depend on how long you could play a game. And you can have a stage. There's a stage, and then there's a terrace. And like the multi-purpose would have what's the multi-purpose? The studios would be in the multi-purpose, and then you could probably eat there, and a market on the weekends. And there's gonna be gardens outside, like I said, with some exotic plants maybe. The amphitheater for maybe chorus, some concerts, and some other activities that we can hold on the weekends. And I would like to hand it over to my friend Hendrix.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Giovanni Hendricks, and I'm here to speak more on what my fellow student Jacob said about the Tech Lounge. This is like the inside base of it, where you can actually see it, do most of your creative activities. Like who is more interested in the computer science and technology base, they can like sit down on the computers and stuff. And we also have our studios. Thank you. We also have like our studios where we can go in and do extra activity. Like myself in the culinary program, we would have a lab right there to say, oh, there's a culinary lab, I can go in, learn more stuff. There would be an engineer lab where you can go in, learn more stuff, and so forth. And this would be the outdoors, where we have our gardens. As I said, I'm in the culinary department, so I'm gonna like give them ideas and stuff about the garden. So we would like have our fresh fruits outside. Grow. We would still be buying stuff, but we would mostly read from our garden, which most students will grow their own crop and say, this is what I've produced, to give the culinary program something to use on. And this is pretty much what we look forward to see with the outside garden. And everything will all come down to this, where this is the whole set form of what we all come about. That's it.
Hi, I'm Johnny Aviles. I wanted to talk a little more about this area because, like, to me, music's been important to me for a long time. And so this area we were thinking, like, maybe, like, within the studios we would have, like, music centers and classes and stuff like that, you know? And out here, like, in the amphitheater and the stage, we were planning to have concerts where the students would show off their skills. And we were thinking of, like, calling them Twam Jams. And, like, it wouldn't just be music, though. It would be, like, all sorts of things that they decided to do outside. Everything that they wanted to show off, whatever they've been working on inside the studios and whatever program, whatever interest they have, they would sort of just show it off here. We would all gather and see what they had to like, show.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Tenorio Melendez, and here's how, from the drawings to how we envision it to actually look like. On the top left-hand corner would be similar to how the multi-purpose lounge would look like. And so that when you walk in, you see all the furniture and everything, a nice place to hang out and everything. Top middle, outside area, and top right will be in the tech lounge. We'll have computers set up and everything where you can work. And in the middle section where we have the different studios, you can have the music studio. In the center, we have the food bar that was there. In the tech lounge, we have, yeah. And so, yeah, that's basically what the tech lounge is gonna look like. And the multi-purpose lab is like my favorite room there. So you have the different rooms leading off to the studios, and you have this big open area. And I proposed the idea, you have the studio where you're making all this content for yourself, but what are you gonna do with that content? Just post it on YouTube, maybe get like a few views and everything. Gotta work on networking. So I proposed on like weekends, people come in and you can showcase everything you've made. You can put on display like the latest art project you made, maybe auction it off if it's a really beautiful piece. Show people your music video you made and everything. It's just a big open area where you can show everything that you've made in the individual studios. And in the studios themselves, small rooms where you can work on your content, and it provides you with different equipment you wouldn't have access to usually. Like say you really love music or whatever, but your school doesn't have an orchestra and you can't afford that stuff at home. So you come to the Innovation Center, you have all this equipment that you would find like a university, but say you're like a freshman, you're not gonna be in university for 4 years. You're gonna just sit there and wait around until you're old enough to kickstart your dream. No, you start now. And so the Innovation Center would be a great place where you can jumpstart on your future career. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience. And all I will say is, when I first met the students, I could feel their genius. But after working with them 3 times and going to the school and feeling that energy, I believe in their genius now. So thank you very much.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Miller Anderson.
Madam Chair, students, don't leave. The 4 of you have spoken because I want to say something to you.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment. I definitely appreciated all of your presentations. Hello, guy. I know you're ready to go. Long day, right? I know. But I'm sure there are quite a few of us that probably want to say something to y'all, so give us a couple minutes. I just wanted to say thank you all for coming in and presenting. It's not always easy coming up here and presenting. It's not that easy for us sometimes. So you all did a wonderful job. I definitely wanted to say something about the first young lady that came up, Miss Flolane, because I've known her since she was in kindergarten. And I want to assure you, she has been that way since kindergarten. She has always been an articulate young lady, very inquisitive. Her mind was always running, and that was as an AP, assistant principal. I've known her since she was in kindergarten, but I'm glad to see, I haven't seen her in a long time, but I'm glad to see she's doing wonderful things, and she's always been a leader, so this is not new for her. She started a long time ago, so she seems to have a very great future coming ahead of her. Thank you all again.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, well, I want to speak about all of you. You were just great, outstanding, innovative, inspiring, and we learned from you. As a child, a little child shall lead them, and you certainly led us tonight. But I do want to speak specifically to the first speaker, the young lady. I'm not as blessed as Kashama Miller Anderson. I haven't known you since kindergarten, but I've known you for the last 10 minutes. And what I want to say is I assume that you're from Haiti. Are your parents? Okay. All I could think about while you were speaking, first of all, let me just give a disclaimer out there. The Office of the Mayor has a really strong relationship with Port-au-Prince and with the government. And I've been to St. Mark a few times, Petreville, and other places in Haiti. What I thought about while you were speaking is how the children of Haiti can benefit from this type of leadership, this type of innovative things that you're doing. And I want to get with your parents, and I would like to see something like this, even if it's like one room at a time, being built or infused in the high school in Haiti, and take this to the young people there and let them benefit from this project and this program. And I'm sure that we can find, that I can find sponsors that would help to have this kind of institution, lack of a better word, in Haiti, and you be the leader of that, and the program will be in your name. So make sure you stop by the mayor's office before you leave, because this is something that I know would benefit the brothers and sisters in Haiti. And that's something that I want to do. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Votel, and then Commissioner Vice Chair Hubbard.
I also wanted to thank you for presenting this evening. All of you did a wonderful job, and I wanted to thank Mr. Nottingham for bringing this program to Riviera Beach. I only had a few minutes to spend with you that day, but it was an exciting few minutes, and I could see the genius in the room in all of the students who were there. And thank you also to Mr. McDermott and to the Inlet Grove faculty and staff for bringing your expertise to this project. I hope that one day we can see this to fruition. Thank you.
Vice Chair?
Many thanks to all of you for coming out here today to present. I can see the passion in all of you, and the creativity, and we want to thank you for coming to share that with us. And I too want to thank Mr. Nottingham and Mr. McDermott for a job well done.
Commissioner Davis?
Thank you. I want to say thank you to the Inlet Grove staff, as well as the great leaders that came here today to speak. You're not young leaders, you are leaders. You know, it starts at birth. When you come out, what happened to us dictates who we are now. We are designed to provide us a level of service and support. Thank you for being a great example to this community, because it's people like yourselves that give me a great understanding when I come back here how I'm supposed to work with my colleagues to create such a great product for our community. So thank you for being a great example for me as an elected official. And I enjoyed your sacrifice and how well you worked on that day about allowing me to sit in that room and work with Mr. Nottingham. But thank you, okay?
Madam Chair.
I would like to also just echo the sentiments of my colleagues and to simply say that I see your genius and I'm excited about the future of Riviera Beach because it's in your hands. I want to thank your parents for allowing you to participate and for guiding you and supporting you in the manner that they have. To the staff of Inlet Grove, thank you, Mr. Nottingham, and especially I'd like to thank Mr. Evans for bringing this program and identifying it and bringing it to this beautiful city. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, one more thing. Make sure I get the contact. I'll give you the principal tomorrow, Dr. Banks, and in the Grove. But I would like for each one of you to be a junior mayor during the summer for 1 week. And but I want to give you time for you to tell your parents and tell everyone you're going to sit right here with the mayor, and you're going to be my junior mayor during the summer for 1 week. Okay, is that a deal? High five. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madam Clerk, presentation number 2.
Presentation 2017 audit.
Yes, HCT completed the CRA's annual audit. They are also the auditors for the city of Riviera Beach. The CRA's audit is actually a component of the city's audit, so it's HCT is here this evening to present our audit to the board this evening.
One moment. You may proceed.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board for this Riviera Beach CRA. My name is Thomas Williams. I'm here on behalf of HCT, as Mr. Evans stated, the auditors in charge of the audit for the CRA for 2017. First, would like to send Mr. Harvey's apologies. He wanted to be here and present, but he had to be called out on a last-minute assignment, so unfortunately, you get me today. Just a brief overview of what we will be discussing this evening. The first item we will discuss is the audit opinion. No need to wait any further. It is an unqualified opinion, and I will explain what that means. Then we'll take a look at some of the key numbers from the audit and from the financial report. Then we'll take a look back at 2016 and compare that to the numbers this year for 2017, and then go over some management comments or findings or ways to improve the CRA, and then at the end we'll leave time for some questions. As I stated before, the CRA earned an unqualified opinion, which means that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, sorry. Now to take a look at some of the balance sheet numbers for the CRA. Total assets were $14.6 million with total liabilities of $10.4. Deferred inflows of resources for $57,000. And you had a total fund balance, which is unassigned, meaning there's no commitment or it was not assigned to a specific purpose, of $1.4 million. 4.1, sorry. Now take a look at the activities for the year. There were 7.9 in revenues, 9.2 in expenditures, which left a change of a negative $1.3 million. And now to compare it back to 2016. Starting from the revenues, you'll see that there was a decrease in 2.9, but if you take a look back specifically at what those revenues make up, majority of the dollars are TIF funds, tax incremental financing, and that number stayed about the same. So you're still getting the same amount of money in tax dollars that you've been getting over the years. You'll also see that expenditures were able to be decreased, and that mainly is due from the city, and the city did have some contributions in the prior years, and that helped with construction, and some of that has stopped. and that you will see boils down to and gets you to the 4.1 in fund balance. And now this is just a look at the net position. The difference between the net position and the fund balance. The net position takes effect all future earnings and future liabilities. So in the total assets, you will see 21 million. What that includes, and the fund balance did not include, or the general fund did not include, our fixed assets. And for some reason, Gatsby wants us to list fixed assets only with their net position and not in the fund statements. And so get all the way down to the bottom, which should say net position. I apologize for not fixing that slide, of negative 12 million. Last year, that number was 354,000. And the main reason for that big change is because, and also you'll see that coming on in later slides, the city and the CRA did have an agreement with the Marina Uplands. And at the end of the year, they decided to sever that agreement. And so therefore, the assets dealing with the marina had to be transferred back over to the city. So you'll see the hit now, but in the future, you should see that number raised back up. And now to take a look at the prior year comments. Just as a precursor, they were all resolved, but I will just kind of go over what they were and how we were able to resolve the findings. The first one is dealing with the Marina Uplands, and as I mentioned, that party has been terminated, so that issue will no longer come up. The next finding we have is that there were some cash amounts that were overstated on the trial balance. This year, with the help of the city and Mr. Conrad, all of the cash accounts were reconciled at the end of the year, so we did not have to go back and find anything wrong. We did not find anything wrong. Cash balances were able to tie. With the next finding, the CRA was unable to prepare their own financial statements. Again, with the help of the city, the CRA was able to do their own financial statements, so that finding has been taken off. As well as long outstanding checks had not been properly reversed, and unclaimed amounts had not been properly handled in accordance with state laws. We did not find any outstanding checks for 2017, so that finding will also come out. And for the current year, we did not have any findings. So with that, if there are any questions, I am here to entertain those to the best of my abilities.
Are there any questions from the commissioners?
Just want to send a special thanks to the staff as well as city staff. They were great in getting us in responses. Just a little background, the CRA did move to the city's financial reporting software, and so that conversion was very, very trying, I'm sure they can tell you, and the city did a wonderful job getting to us what we needed and converting over. So thank you.
I think it's appropriate for us to do a motion to receive and file the audit report.
So
May I have a motion?
Second.
The motion is to receive and file the 2017 audit. It's been motioned and properly second.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Botel?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hubbard?
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Presentation number 3, please.
Presentation by Florida Fishing Academy, concept plan for a marine lab.
Mr. Rich Broku has, for a number of years now, been operating the fishing program that operates out of the marina that the CRA has sponsored. And they've been bringing about 500 children through that program every year. And the CRA sponsors the Riviera Beach children who participate in it. And I believe that they were over 200 children from Riviera Beach who participated in it last year. And Captain Rich has approached us. They have a proposal to bring a future marine lab and education facility to our Broadway corridor. And we're very excited about that. The CRA, along with the city staff, met with Captain Rich about his proposal. So I thought it would be good if he came to this board tonight to tell you about his concept. He's in the process of looking for a site. He does need to get a lot of funding, so if before he goes down that long road and puts in a lot of resources and effort to raise the funds to build this project, I wanted him to get some feedback from the board about the concept.
Thank you. This is a fairly long proposal, but we're going to go quickly through these slides. I've been here before. So with the help of the CRA, we are the community boating program. We're going into our 7th year. So far, we served over 19,000 students, and last year in the Riviera Beach Marina, we brought over 2,300 students either fishing, boating, kayaking, swimming, and snorkeling. Again, 90 to 95% of our students and our residents of Riviera, the kids that we serve, have never been in the ocean, the intercoastal, or even at salt water. So when they actually get it in their mouth, they're like, what's that taste like? And it's humbling to see what we get to enjoy every day, that these kids live less than a mile and they get to enjoy what we get to do. So our goal, we are in an education organization. We go into the schools, we teach ethical angling, we teach marine biology. We're a social emotional learning facility. So we're basically building up their self-confidence. We're teaching them new things. So our original goal is 10,000 students, 150,000 tourists annually. I would like to reduce that number of the tourists because we are concentrating more on the education site and the community site versus outside tourism. Our current funders, United Way, Primetime, Palm Beach County, that 94,000 has changed recently. We received another almost $30,000 from them. We're also Youth Services, $39,000. We won Impact 100. Community Foundation, $165,000. That's to build a mobile marine lab. Because we have not found a site to build that yet, we were really feeling like the community needed our education at their site, so we decided to build a trailer and tow our marine lab to their site. No equivalent field trip, Palm Beach County. Right now, our kids go down to the Keys to Marine Lab. It's costing our students over $195 just for one day in the Keys. And let me tell you, I've done that trip with my kids 2 times. And what we have right here at Peanut Island, Riviera Beach, just in this community is by far superior than that trip. And then also our schools, as you know, if we go out of our school, Palm Beach County, they have to charter a school bus. So again, the health benefits of being on the water, it's proven stress relief, recharge the body, improve the mood, releases feel-good chemicals, vitamin D. Again, we're keying on social emotional learning, and fishing and being on the water is a natural motivator. I wish I had worked with Inlet Grove and their kids, because I paid a lot of money for this design when they did an awesome job with their design. There's some things I definitely could use from them, that their concepts are awesome. But if we, depending on the site that we get, is obviously going to determine the size of the building. This is the maximum we would probably build. On the very top of that, we're looking at solar panels, rooftop garden. However, if we do get a nice piece of land, we'd like to do the aquaponics not on a rooftop, because that's a very expensive asset to put on a roof. But we'd like to have the gardens, the aquaponics on our facility. So ranging 24,000, 14,000. From the last time I was here asking for more of an aquarium than this, the number gallons of fish tank was around 1 million, has now been reduced to 100,000, because all of the things that we're gearing our site for is for a touch tank. It's more learning, it's interactive. I don't want the kids coming in, looking at an aquarium, then walking by and never seeing it again. If we build a big aquarium, that's for them to swim in and actually be with the animals. Because a lot of our kids out there don't even want to get in the water because they fear what's inside the water. But when their friends get in, we're getting probably about 70%, 80% in the water out there. So there's still some that don't go. So this is hopefully a way to actually get them kind of acclimated to what's out there. Yes, the touch tank will have sharks in it. That's the biggest thing that kids like to see. So we're not going to put any dangerous sharks in there. They're going to be the smaller, bottom-feeding type sharks. Yeah. So
thank you for that.
I got that one. So this is a concept drawing of our first floor. We are going to try to do some training, job training. So if you look on the right side, that's a miscellaneous training shop, wood shop, welding, engine shop. I think one of the shops that's important that is in need, especially for male and female, is having sewing, whether it be canvas, clothes, you know, cushions, anything. They're all related. I've challenged other people in the past that I don't believe that there's any industry out there that doesn't relate to the marine industry. So even incorporating a tech lab in here could be easily incorporated because we use all kinds of technology. I think the marine industry spends more money on technology than probably most police departments do, and they're just trying to find fish out there. So they spend an enormous amount, and improving that type of stuff using apps and other stuff is awesome. So here's a couple designs, concepts that we have looked at other places that we like. So you have your local touch tank with the teacher behind it that is going to have the small animals, and then your sharks, rays, and other animals are in the larger touch tanks. Second floor, this may change a little bit depending, but we're doing a number of classrooms, smaller touch tanks, and a cafeteria type lounge. So seeing the kids' designs, again, maybe this may be redesigned. Mangroves on the second floor. We actually want to develop the aquarium systems to have plants and aquaponics to actually do the filtering rather than having a large filtering room so that they can actually, you know, there are very limited vegetables or plants that can be grown using salt water. There's actually a lot of studies out now doing aquaponics, growing some edible saltwater plants. We also want to tie that into some fresh water if we can also. And this third floor, or it could be actually an option building, but these are all the classrooms that we have, and we actually want to have the students be able to stay on site too. So if we want to do a late field trip, the parents don't have to worry about them walking home, how they're going to get home. They can just stay. We can have this kind of close-knit family, take them out late nights, doing different seine net drags or looking at krill or stuff like that. So we are looking for on-site type living for temporary living, not like permanent living for our kids. Creating local jobs. We're going to be able to spark development in the area. We're using STEAM also. And again, we're keying on social emotional health. So where some of our students and neighborhood students don't have a stable place to go, hopefully this can be their stable place to go. This is our mobile marine lab that we had earlier pictured. At the price on this was $165,000. In the middle, you'll see a working watershed with a sand aquifer system. That is actually a replica of Palm Beach County. On the left side is a touch tank. Let's see. There's a picture of the kids at the touch tank. We actually, for the first time, brought that to the Manatee Lagoon when they had their inaugural celebration. We were invited over there, so we brought that. That was actually our first public showing. It was quite a hit. We actually probably put 2,500 kids in 2 days through this. We had people that were coming from day one, coming back with their kids on day two. We had a mom that was actually holding a small, like, 3-year-old, had the other one in their hand, somehow balancing her phone on the ear, calling all her friends, saying, "You're not going to believe it, my 3-year-old's touching a starfish. You got to come down here." And she was actually one of the people that came the second day. So these are the type of things that we're interested in having the experience of starfish touching, you know, again, like the sharks, the sea rays, sea urchins, cucumbers, all that stuff. On this, we have what's called a augmented reality sandbox. That is actually beach sand on a 3D projector. And as you dig down, it shows you water. And as you dig up, you can actually build like a mountain. If you build it high enough, the mountain will actually turn white, like if it was snow. And it actually will show you water flow. You can hold your hand over the projector, and it'll do rain, and you can watch the rain, how it flows off the land. So we use that for topography in our 4th and 5th grade classes. Let's see. And that's our boat that is parked at the Riviera Beach Marina. This is the one that we used for our kids. Last year we had 1,300 students. Riviera residents and students from our other programs in the Palm Beach County school system on this boat. Again, we don't do private charters, so we are only geared towards kids, students, learning environments. It is wheelchair accessible, as shown right here. Coast Guard inspected, 49 passenger. And let's see, we do wheelchairs, snorkeling, camps, boating programs, community boating programs, fishing for families, private charters, And we do a veterans trip, 1 or 2 every year for our local veterans that are disabled. It was actually scheduled for last Saturday, and obviously with the rain, yeah, that didn't work too well. So that's the end of the presentation. So really, I'm just looking to see if this is something you would like me to pursue in Riviera Beach, possibly on North Broadway, that area, on the north end of the city, or if you have a recommendation anywhere else.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Botel.
I don't know whether I'm more excited about this as a teacher, a grandmother, or a council person who's very excited about seeing something wonderful come to North Broadway, if that's where you end up putting this. I welcome this idea with open arms. I think it's a wonderful concept, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Miller-Anderson?
I definitely like the concept as well. Do you have any idea? Do you have any property on Broadway at this point?
We do not.
That you were looking at?
We have looked at whatever's available out there. We have looked at Jay's Ministries property on the North Broadway, so I'm not sure where that price is going to fall. We have casually discussed, but without having your support, I didn't feel it was appropriate to pursue contracts or obviously anything like that.
I think that is something that would be a good draw. We would definitely, as you mentioned before, field trips for our students to be able to go to, not having to go always have to go down to the Miami Aquarium or go down south to visit areas such as this. And I like it. I mean, it would be a great asset to the area, and it would provide a lot of opportunities for the students, educational opportunities, as well as foot traffic coming down there. So I totally support it.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Davis and then Vice Chair Hubbard.
I can wait.
Vice Chair Hubbard?
Sir, it's definitely an exciting project, and I think it would be something that the city would benefit from greatly. I'm not sure which sites that we have, but I'm sure if everybody's on board, we could look around. I was thinking more toward the southern end as opposed to the north end, but that's way down the road. So I just want to tell you that I think that we benefit greatly from a project like this here for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'll be saying the same thing that everyone else is saying.
Okay.
To be all aware of, 2 years ago, I asked this board to support looking at the concept of the aquarium. We flew somebody in from San Francisco. This gentleman's done numerous presentations. We've all been consistently supportive in your efforts and the things that you ask of this board as we find a way to draw our local and our tourist traffic to Riviera Beach to benefit and to really let folks know this jewel has been here for years and how our kids can benefit from the educational component and create jobs from that. As future scientists, future marine biologists, future folks that's working in just marine industry altogether, we have to find a way to continue this exposure. And you've been very consistent. Thank you for everything that you've been done this far. And I'm sure that you will continue to work with staff to bring ideas as we may workshop potential ideas in the future. I will continue to be positive and supportive of what's in the best interest of this community.
Great, thank you.
Madam Chair, we have one public comment card.
Yes, I'm aware. I have a question for you. You listed your community partners. Are they your community partners in programming only, or will you also seek funding in the construction and operation of this building from these partners as well?
Yes, I will be seeking funding through them. I also have an opportunity to apply for a state grant right now that we're looking into. That's going to be able to push us into the purchasing of the land. So yes, but we are looking at those other organizations to support us, especially the Community Foundation.
And when you asked for our support of this project so that you can go out, is there going to be an expectation that you will come back seeking financial support from this body for this facility?
I hope not. I hope we can do it without the support of this. I mean, you guys have supported our organization in the youth program, so I believe the program support that you have provided has been awesome. allowing me to be here in your community for the last 7 years and giving me the opportunity to be here is the only support that I'm requesting.
Okay, so with that being said, we need consensus from this body for the record in support of this program, and you would then move forward in identifying whether or not the space is available,
Yes.
and then moving forward with your
Yep.
grant opportunities.
Should, Madam Chair, one last thing, I promise, last thing.
Commissioner Botel.
I might say that it's wonderful to have unanimity on this board, which I think we're about to have. But also, we will be having, as you know, a grant workshop on the 31st, and I encourage you, I know that you'll be attending, I encourage you to really make a good linkage there with the Inlet Grove folks who will also be attending, because I think there's a lot of synergy there, and I would hope to see you come out of that workshop with a program that can be supported by the grantor.
Yeah, we've actually been working with Inlet Grove already. We've had 7 field trips with them this year already. In our first year, and we were actually speaking about this outside earlier, so yes, thank you.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, could you go back to your mobile slide again?
Oops.
If you can.
Yeah. That one.
Okay. Have you been able to go to different, how does that work? You go to different areas and you set up?
Well, so this is a 3-year grant with Community Foundation. The first year was just to build it. That grant cycle actually is the end of June. Our second year grant is to take it to community events, schools, and education type things. So we haven't really got it out there yet. We finished it actually 5 months ahead of schedule because we had so many people in the community that was asking to bring this. We did the Paddle Fest, we did a primetime event, and then, like I said, we did the Manatee Lagoon. So as we move forward, we're already getting requests to bring it to the schools.
Good.
So I would...
when do you think it'll be?
This fall. As soon as school gets back in session this fall, it'll be up in our school system. We're actually already booking for our fall term.
Yeah, I would like you to put on your calendar. We have that the city sponsors a family and friends evening.
Okay.
It was the 3rd Thursday, but it's being moved to the 1st Thursday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
We have some family members, younger people that would definitely be interested. The other place that I would like for you to put on your agenda when you start being mobile is Stony Brook Apartments complex, where you could actually go in, the children of Stony Brook, which is an economic challenged area in the community that you can just go and we can work it out. You can set up, and those kids also will get excited about the wonders of the creation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Madam Chair.
You're welcome, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to entertain a motion of consensus in support of the attraction and education facility sponsored by the Florida Fishing Academy.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly seconded. Before we take a vote, we do have one comment card.
Bonnie Larson.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Botel.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller Anderson.
Yes.
Vice Chair Hubbard.
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carries with Commissioner Davis absent.
Thank you. Item number 7.
A resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Riviera Beach Community Redevelopment Agency authorizing execution of an agreement between the agency and Level 3 Incorporated to coordinate and complete the burial of its utility lines within the US 1 quarter in the Marina District for an amount not to exceed $71,132.24. Directing and authorizing the Chairman and Executive Director to take such actions as shall be necessary and consistent to carry out the intent and desire of the agency, providing an effective date.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly seconded.
Good evening. Good evening, members of the board. Tamara, if you could just pull up the couple of slides that I prepared for this. This project is part of our capital improvement project. It was adopted into our CRA plan to pursue it originally in 2011. And as a part of that project, the CRA set aside $2.5 million to bury all of the overhead lines located along Broadway and in the Marina District. As this project has proceeded, we have now spent approximately $1 million of the $2.5 million budget in accomplishing this. And the way that project works is the very final last step is the removing of the overhead lines. So all of the other progress steps and incremental steps need to be completed before we finally get the end benefit, which results in sort of the view here you can see on the screen above. Here's the overhead lines along US 1 Broadway. We have FDOT came in and worked with us and did the landscaping and median down the center, and you can see once you remove those overhead lines, it really starts to change the whole look and feel of Broadway. And that's building towards, in our workshop later this evening, I'll present a couple of follow-on items as we try and build more confidence to attract a development community to come and transform Broadway US 1 into a real downtown area. This particular project is one of the last ones for level 3. They've already completed the burial in the most of Broadway area. And the current phase project that we're working on includes the Marina District. It starts from 27th Street and goes south all the way to 10th Street. They have already completed the most of that burial. They do directional boring, so they bring in the equipment and they dig underneath the ground to implement putting in brand new lines underneath our sidewalks and underneath the right-of-way, and they get an FDOT permit for all of that work. Once all of the overhead lines are buried, then the last step will be for AT&T and FPL to come in and bury their lines. And like I said, this is the final segment in the Marina District for level 3. We've expended about $1 million on this project so far. Tonight's resolution is requesting approval for $71,132, and this starts at US 1 and completes the burial in the Marina District. Thank you.
Any questions from the commissioners?
None.
I just had a question as it related to page 3 of the CenturyLink. Their relocation document, it doesn't have a signature on it. It's on page 3.
Okay.
It gives the specifics as well as the price, but their principals did not sign.
Yes, I actually have a signed one from the company. If you notice, CenturyLink is on this document. That's because they recently purchased Level 3 Communications. So that's an oversight on our part. I do have a signed document. Our contract will be with Level 3. They continue to operate in that way, but CenturyLink now owns the company. So they sent us a revised contract that just mentioned that the company had been purchased. So we will get one that's been signed by their company.
Okay, and on page 2, number 7, there is a highlight there. Was there a reason for that, or was that just an oversight?
It was just an oversight.
Okay. Any other questions?
We have
Are there any public comment cards?
Bonnie Larson.
Bonnie Larson, this has been a long time coming because we talked about this with Treasure Coast. So it's a long time coming, much needed, and it will make a big difference. My question is, when we heard about it the very first time, they were going to do from Blue Heron south. Okay, they're going to do all those lines first. Then they decided, okay, so we paid someone to do all the surveying or whatever they do to figure out where things are going to go. Then we paid someone to go from Blue Heron north, I guess up to Silver Beach Road. So my question is, I saw some people working a couple years ago, and I was wondering if that was it, because they were boring into the sidewalk, and they had lines and stuff on those big wheels. And he said, no, this is Comcast. I got disappointed. So are you saying tonight that they have pipes underground now in which our telephone lines and stuff are going to go? Are you saying they're in place now? Because I haven't really seen anything happen other than that Comcast thing. So are you saying pipes or whatever those wires get put through are in place at this time, the whole length of Broadway? Okay. And then someone else mentioned to me, well, you can only put so many things underneath I want to know, is it going to be underneath the sidewalks? And if so, how much stuff can we put under the sidewalks? And if Comcast is going under there, they're already under there, what if other cable companies want to do something? Did Comcast pay for what they did? Did they pay us for doing it? Because that's a benefit to them to put it under our sidewalks. And what about other cable companies? Are they going to want to do the same thing? Is there going to be enough room, et cetera, et cetera? So how far along are we? Now, you just mentioned that this money is for Blue Heron South, okay? But what about the north end? So those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this current phase of the project, which we've set aside funds for, is actually from the north side of Blue Heron, from 27th Street south to 10th Street. When Comcast, and one of the questions was what's already been buried. So level 3 has already buried their fiber lines, the majority of Broadway, from 27th Street south. Comcast has also buried their lines, and they've completed that portion of the project also. Comcast, however, said that if we wanted to, because a future phase of the project would be to come back later and bury the lines north of 27th Street. And Comcast, who was working in the area, said if we wanted to go ahead now being, this is several years ago, and bury the lines all the way to Silver Beach Road, that it wouldn't be that much more money since they were already mobilized. So the Comcast actually did get buried from Silver Beach Road all the way to 10th Street as a part of this project. So we were able to get more in this current phase, although we will still have to come back and bury the other utilities. So hopefully that helps answer the question.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Any further questions from Commission? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Botel?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller-Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hubbard?
Yes.
Chair Davis-Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 8.
Neighborhood Services Update.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Anita Jenkins, Director of Neighborhood Services.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As promised this year, we wanted to come back and give you an update on some of our neighborhood services activity. And one of the first programs we'd like to talk about for a minute are the activities under Creativity Station. I'd like to ask several partners to join me here to help me with this presentation. And I'll briefly introduce them to you. Mr. C. Ron Allen with KOP Mentoring Network, and he's brought some of our young students.
KOP means what?
Knights of Pythagoras Mentoring Network.
Thank you.
You'll come on up. I want you to see their faces, and Mr. Allen will introduce the students. So perhaps students, if you could stand there so they can see who you are. And I'd like to have join me here Mr. Jeffrey Allen, who is one of our CDC board members who's a partner in some of these programs, and we'll hear a little bit more from the CDC. And while he's doing that, I'd like to acknowledge other board members who are in the audience. If you would stand, please. I see a few faces. Don't be shy.
Just stand on up.
Stand up. As you know, we were charged with developing activities for our students, some of whom were at Inlet Grove, other high schools, but also our elementary and middle schools. We know that our children are very creative. We know that they are very smart, that they are just geniuses, as you've seen exhibited here today. So we were challenged to create a set of programs that we could offer our children during the winter, spring, and summer break, because we know that minds are always working and we know that our children just have a number of things they could be doing, and we want to make sure that we're giving them every opportunity. You've heard a presentation earlier about STEAM activities. So we created something that we think goes beyond STEM, goes beyond STEAM, and we named it STREAM 3 for science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, music, math, and sports. So I'd like to have Mr. Allen talk just for a minute about STREAM 3.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Over the spring break, we had the opportunity to expose close to 50 students to 5 days of non-traditional learning while having fun. We use this opportunity to help build character, promote reading, and develop leadership in them. And we did so without them even knowing it. We have, as you heard, 3 of our students here today, one of our leaders and 2 others, and Cameron Mills, Rayleigh Rosales, and our pianist extraordinaire, Miss Delana Johnson. We kicked off the program over the winter break with a trip to Microsoft where they learned the art of coding. We also went to the Florida Power and Light where we saw how electricity is made, and we toured the West Palm Beach Police Department and learned about the day in the life of an officer. Over the spring break, we went out on the boat with Captain Rich, and they learned about marine life and aquatic life. We also had an afternoon where they painted while sipping on fruit smoothies. Had a trip over to Palm Beach where they toured the Flagler Museum, saw the bells and whistles at the Palm Beach Police Department, and we spent a day learning technology and the arts at the Center for Creative Education down in West Palm Beach. We also had a day when Councilman Davis shared with us a day in the life of an elected official. We culminated the week with a surprise oratorical contest at Barracuda Bay Aquatic Park. On the day 2, we tasked them with writing a 250-word essay on the effects of bullying, and we were honored to have Chairwoman Davis as one of our judges that day. In another 2 weeks, we'll be launching a 3-week wealth building camp for our elementary students, where they will learn the value of money, how to start and operate a small business, as well as investing stocks, and we'll be visiting a hedge fund firm where they'll see the folks running around and acting like they do on Wall Street. We also have a dance troupe that's coming in from Los Angeles, and we'll be spending a week at the Kravitz Center, and they'll be spending a day teaching them and exposing them to the arts. And the students here will have a chance to create the theme will be anti-bullying, and they'll have a chance to create a PSA which will be shared with you once they're completed. Finally, simultaneously, the middle and high school students will visit Western Palm Beach County, where they'll learn about the history out there. They'll visit the Seminole Indian Reservation. They'll have a class on healthy living, a day at the Jupiter Lighthouse, as well as do a service project to remove invasive species. You know, let me just add that our aftercare program, we'll have a puppetry program where they'll learn about the arts again, and they'll also do a production, which I'd like to invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to. And above all, it sounds like it's all schoolwork. No, we're going to have fun. We have a splash pad out there we're going to be using. We're going to have hula hoop contests. We're going to have water balloon toss, and it's going to be a fun-filled learning 3 weeks. I'm going to step aside. I'm going to have Ms. Mills say a few words, and our extraordinaire will take us home.
evening. Good evening. My name's Cameron Mills. I attend West Boca High School where I'm in 10th grade. I am also vice president of KOP mentoring program, but right now we're talking about stream 3. So I'll be representing stream 3 today. Since the beginning of spring break, we have been doing things that we didn't know we was going to be doing. It came out as a shocker to us. So when we learned that we was doing something and then we learned something out of it, it blew our minds. It was a good experience for us, and some things we might have not thought that we needed, but really we did, because it made us think of what we want to do in the future. And also, speaking of this coming week, next week, some of the students will be going to Jacksonville at a conference. So I'm excited about that. And many more opportunities to come, especially this summer camp, and prepared to do it, even though things are not expected yet. Thank you.
Good evening. So today my name is Delina Johnson, and I will be talking about the program that we did. I go to school at Balt Middle School of the Arts, and in the program, it gave us lots of opportunities because we got to work on different jobs and explore different roles. And I got interviewed for the mayor, and I found out what it was like to be one. Like, we had to take care of everything and solve other people's problems if something was going wrong. And that was interesting to work with. And I just want to thank all the people that helped us experience this.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
As you can see, Ms. Johnson actually also attended, I think during the spring break, she attended our Junior Achievement Camp where if you could see pictures of some of the children, where we had quite a few children in our Biz Camp and J.A. Spark program. If you visited us over at the event center, you saw the small town with the pop-ups and the kiosks. They had computers and cash registers, and just seeing those small children be CEOs and hearing them negotiate and sell pets in the pet store, it was quite amazing. In the J.A. Spark program, the older children worked on their business strategy. They were young entrepreneurs, and they ended the program with business plans, and just hearing some of the concepts for future businesses in our city was quite exciting. I'd like to also talk about our Comerica Small Business Resource Center. We received some partner funds from Comerica, and we didn't forget our adult citizens. During this 6-week program, there were a number of sessions and presentations from experts, and we want to thank our own attorney, Mr. Haygood, who talked on legal strategy for startups, who learned business startups, financial, legal, and business plans, marketing and social media, and we had a very exciting competition. And thank you to some of the commissioners who came out for different parts of it, and we were just quite pleased that we had 22 graduates from our city for the small business program. Our next session will be in the fall of 2018, and you see some of the pictures at graduation. It was quite nice. We have followed up, and we've even used some of the services at our various activities for some of our programs. And I'd like to ask Mr. Jackson if he'd just tell you a little bit about Creativity Station by the numbers.
So as Ms. Jenkins said, well, hello, first of all. I'm going to be covering the Creativity Station stats. Stream 3, we had 47 students participate year to date. The projected summer enrollment is 30, although after today and C-Run bringing the kids out, we'll probably have more. The junior achievement, we had 185 students enroll year to date. The projected summer stats enrollment was 175. Comerica Small Business Resource Center, 22 entrepreneurs graduated from that program. So, and there are four, as you see, four programs to go at the entrepreneurship, financial literacy, technology, and the arts. Okay, Ms. Jenkins, I'm gonna step out on a limb and say let's let the commissioners figure out some other things that they want to bring to the table. Some other programs we can deliver on.
That's a challenge, right?
Yes. Oh, go ahead. Did you want to add something, the young man?
No. Of course he has something.
Just say hello. Say hello to them. Tell them your name. Go up to the mic and tell them your name.
Hello, my name is Rayleigh Rosales.
What was camp like for you? How did you enjoy camp?
Yeah. Yes.
How was it?
Great.
What did you learn from camp?
Teamwork.
Well, why don't you tell them about, by the way, let me just say, as a result of this experience, we had 15 kids who graduated this past Monday night from the Center for Creative Education, and they had to take a 2-hour movie and create a trailer and a poster, and they could not use a score from the movie. They had to go out and find their own. It was a tedious task, and they did it, and this young man completed it. He graduated, so tell them about that experience. What was it like? What was your movie? Come on, you can do it. What was the name of the movie?
Mine.
Tell them. Tell them.
My name's
No, the movie.
Wait, mine or
yours? The one you did.
The one I did was Transformers.
Why?
The last night because it has I have a song that goes with the movie. It's like that, but I don't know about it.
So why'd you choose Transformers?
It's my favorite.
Good enough.
I guarantee that these children are not shy. If you could see them in the coding camp and at Center for Creative Education and in our classroom at the event center with the robots and the digital imaging, and they took photos every day and they had their journals where they journaled. It is quite an experience. So we're looking forward to our summer camp. We have 3 sessions with stream starting June 4th, and it will go for 3 weeks. We'll take a 2-week break, and then we'll come back, I believe, July 9th for our junior achievement camp for 3 weeks, and we're expecting quite a bit of activity. So thank you, young people, and we look forward to having you participate with us again. Thank you, Mr. Searon. Thank you, partners. Thank you all for the support. I'd like to mention that we have several new projects. A number of you came out to the groundbreaking for the CDC, CRA, the cities, and BB&T's partnership with the Lindsay Davis Senior Garden Club for the Willie Bo Davis Flower and Meditation Garden. We did a lot of work, had a beautiful program, and we're coming back on June 2nd for the ribbon cutting. And this Monday, we will have our Bike and Bill partnership. We're convening at 625 West 3rd Street. Bike and Bill is a national partnership of young people who like to bicycle, and they support affordable housing. Our team, these teams ride around the country raising awareness about affordable housing. Our team left Key West on Sunday, and these young people will ride from Key West to Canada, raising awareness, raising funds. Their goal is $100,000, and as of this afternoon, they had already raised $83,000, some of which will have the opportunity to apply for grants to do more projects like this. We will be painting and landscaping with xeriscaping 4 senior citizens' homes on 3rd Street, and we will meet at 625 West 3rd Street at 8 a.m. We already have about 75 volunteers who will be coming out to join the visitors in our city. So we invite you out. If anyone is interested in joining us, please come or call the CRA for more information. We're going to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is a tremendous nationally recognized opportunity right here in Riviera Beach. And now the next part of our neighborhood services update, I went a little fast. I'd like to give you an update on the Riviera Beach Renaissance Program, our infill housing program, where we expect to release several requests for bids, and this is the CDC, the first week in June. We have acquired, the CDC has acquired 2 properties on First Street, and it may be a little difficult to see, but they're right next to each other at 950 West First Street and a vacant lot just to the west there. One of the properties, the first property, has an existing house that was formerly rented out that we will be reclaiming and redeveloping into, and I'd like to invite up our architects to introduce them, 2 gentlemen from D&Q Studios, Mr. Quillen and Mr. Diaz, if you'll come and join me. And this house right here, existing house in our neighborhood, will look like this, where we hope to reimagine it with a cottage feel. You see the extensive xeriscaping, the beautiful Caribbean colors, and I'd like to ask the team if they will just tell you real quick what the amenities will be in this house and the house next to it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jay Quillen with D&Q Studios. This is my business partner, Daniel Diaz. What we're looking at here is the existing 950 West First Street property. It's an existing 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath with a carport. We're proposing new finishes to infill the garage, or infill the carport rather, to create a garage, expand the front porch, and modify the half bathroom into a full bathroom to provide 3 2-unit. New site landscaping, finishes, painting, tile, baseboards, a whole new kitchen, new HVAC, new washer and dryer, all new electrical, and new plumbing. These are the interior of the existing building. This is a proposed looking at the what we call the great rooms, the main room as you walk in. It would house the living room and dining room. This is looking towards the existing kitchen, and we're proposing to open this wall up to create more of a open kitchen. Currently it's just a open case doorway. This is a view looking at the back existing screened-in porch. We're recommending to take that porch out. It's not code compliant, and it's in pretty bad shape. And this is a proposed look at the back of the house with a new deck, trellis features, all new windows and doors. This is the property immediately to the west. It doesn't have an address number, so we've been calling it the prototype house. It's an empty lot. This is kind of the wow factor initial rendering of the outside front look. Here we got the site plan. The plan to the right is the second floor. If you can imagine that overlaid on that is the intent of this graphic. This project's proposed as a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, new washer dryer, AC, security, all energy efficient appliances, all impact windows and doors, 1-car garage, front and rear porches and balconies.
And that is our neighborhood services update, to just give you a teaser of what we're doing in our department, and if there are any questions or comments.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Davis?
Thank you. Just two questions. Ms. Jenkins, thank
Yes.
you for such a great presentation. The two homes that were just presented, what is the square footage for home A and home B, the square footage of both of those homes?
This home has approximately,
The existing square footage of this property is 1,500. When we infill the garage, we're getting up to about 1,700.
and then the prototype.
This project is proposed at 1,700 square feet.
So these are both nice-sized family homes, and we've made every effort where the property was big enough to create a garage, so you have some place to put the car, and we tried to ensure as much storage as possible within the house.
And last question, earlier presentation, you talked about the summer camp, and you have 3 different sessions. Is it full, or are you still taking applications, and what age groups those students will?
For Stream 3, we have 2 tracks. We could accommodate kids. We have a few slots left from age 7 to 11, and then the older kids 12 to 18. And for the junior achievement, they have 2 tracks where they could accommodate children from 7 to 18. And as we mentioned earlier, we will have before and after care.
In those applications, they can go online and
Yes.
from the CRA's
Or call our office, yes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor?
And that number is?
The number is 561-844-3408. The CRA's website is www.rbcra.com.
Okay. Just a question or two and then a comment. The 2 houses are basically the same footage, pretty much, when you say?
The 2-story prototype is approximately, they're a couple hundred feet more.
Right.
Yes, it's a little larger.
What is prototype? What does that mean?
It means that we're still developing the plans, and we've never built it.
Finish it. Well, I guess my question is there any reason why the 2 houses will have a different look if they're right next to each other? Or will they have the same similar look?
We think they both have a cottage feel, and we were trying to create something that would fit into that neighborhood, into the character of the neighborhood,
Okay.
The colors, the finishes, etc.
They're beautiful. They're absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic. My comment, please let the young people know that we're not going to leave them out, sharing the office of the mayor, and they also will participate with me and have a week. And the young lady that's the accomplished pianist,
Yes.
please let her know that we would like to continue with the debut with her God-given talent and gifts on the next Family and Friends Day.
Thank you.
We would like for her to perform, as well as any other local people from Riviera Beach or surrounding areas. But
That's
we definitely
fantastic.
want to
Thank
put
you.
her on program,
Thank you.
and maybe she'll win a contract to Hollywood. Who knows?
Yes, her mother was in the audience with
Yeah,
her, but
I
I'm
saw her
sure
mother.
we'll let them know.
Thank you so much.
If there are no other questions, thank you.
That's it for me.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Item number 9.
CDC project, the villas at Solano.
I was looking around for some of my board members. We wanted to present this project separately because we think it's an exciting advancement for workforce housing in our community. Tonight, we would like to unveil the Villas of Solana and give you this RBCDC update. The Villas of Solana is a reimagining of a stall project that we've rescued. The project, which is on Avenue J, currently has 4 townhouse units that are being rented out. The CDC has secured site control. We have purchased this property. It is in pre-development, and we expect to start taking reservations in the summer of this year. I'd like to also introduce our architects, have them stand up here because they are designing this project as well. The Villas of Solana will be 28 brand new family, senior, and veterans townhomes. We'll have 2 and 3 bedrooms, up to 1,400 square feet each, impact-resistant windows and doors, backyard patio and balcony, custom cabinetry, energy-efficient appliances, a children's play area, a community picnic pavilion, and lushly landscaped community with sidewalks and walking trails. And you see a rendering of what we hope it will look like. This is the site plan. If you go out to that project now on Avenue J, you'll see a slightly different configuration, and we propose to create more of a townhouse look and make better use of the property and create as much green space as we can. We expect to break ground in the winter of 2018, before the end of the year.
2019? Winter?
I'm sorry?
Winter 2019?
Winter 2018.
That when we passed out winter?
December.
December, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We're working our team very hard, and we have, there's one piece that we have to put together in terms of the financing, and we expect to have that secured. I'll ask our architects to explain very quickly the site plan.
What we're looking at here is the proposed site plan. And unfortunately, it's just clipped a little bit, but on this, the right side of the screen would be north to south Avenue J, directly north of where we are right now. The existing property is 2 parcels that were originally proposed to be developed, and for whatever reason it didn't happen. They built 2 units on each side of the drive aisle, a center drive aisle, and put in some of the infrastructure, site utilities and dry retention ponds. In keeping with the nature of what's already been developed and proposed, we're trying to reuse or make use of those utilities that are in place. So we kept that kind of central drive aisle, and then what we've changed is the parking. Each unit has its own parking, whereas before it was just a wide open parking area. It's a mixture of 2-bedroom units and 3-bedroom units, a total of 10 buildings, a total of about 38,000 square feet altogether. This elevation here is the proposed 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. If you imagine kind of splitting that down the middle, you'd have a townhouse on each side. The intent is to kind of leverage one design for each unit, and it gets flipped or rotated depending on what building it goes in. So each unit's pretty much the same floor plan. This elevation is the proposed 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath units. This is a 3-unit building. This is the typical floor plans for a 2 and a 2.5 bath. The first floor on both units is typically the living, dining, and kitchen with a half bath, laundry, and mechanical room. The second floor would house the restrooms, or I'm sorry, the full restrooms and 3 bedrooms. This unit's the 2-bedroom. Large closets and large balconies on the second floor for both bedrooms. The 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath unit, the first floor is just a little bit wider than the 2 unit. but it consists of the living, dining, and kitchen, a larger utility room, a half bath, and some storage. The second floor, again, is full bathrooms, 3 bedrooms. The master suite has a large exterior balcony.
It's a little hard to see, but the units have pantry. There's a computer study area up as you come up the stairs on the second floor, a washer dryer accommodation on the first floor. All of them have islands in the kitchens. They'll have energy efficient appliances, impact windows and doors, and energy efficient floors. So that is the Villas of Solano, formerly known as Bougainvillea Court, which we will not mention that name going forward. So Villas of Solano, something new for our neighborhoods. So are there any questions?
Any questions?
Comments?
Well, let me just say, living in South Florida, you never get to experience a true winter, so you threw me off when you said winter. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 10.
Oh, I have a public comment
Is there
card.
a public comment card?
Bonnie Larson.
Thank you.
I remember that previous place, Bougainvillea, but we won't mention it again. It says a stalled project, so I guess that means the other project didn't go through, so now we're renaming it and revitalizing it. It has 4 townhouse units. Does that mean there are only 4 townhouses built at this time? And it's going to be 28 when it's finished? That just says currently has 4 townhouses rented. So I'm not sure about that. If that means there are only 4 there, and now you're going to go ahead and build 20-some more, 28 family. All right, my big concern here is I like the impact windows and things like that. They look a little industrial, I think, the design of them. That's why I want to have these have not been built yet, right? It looks a little industrial to me, a lot industrial to me. Now, these are 2 and 3 bedrooms up to 14,000 square feet. So you're going to have you're going to have parents and you're going to have children. You could have 2, 4, 6 children there maybe, and then the parents. You could have possibly 8 people living in each one of these units. If you look at the front of it, you see here's the car parked in front of this one unit. I only see room for that one car. The other car, if you have another car, it's going to have to be parked in front of your front door. So I'm wondering, where's the parking for this? Because if you got 3 bedrooms, you're going to have more than 3 cars there, just your family. Where are your visitors going to park? So this, to me, looks like 1 car plus 1 car if you want to block your front door. So that's a big concern for me is parking. We always have trouble with that in Riviera Beach. Where's visitors parking? How many parking spots are we talking about? And children's play area, how big is that going to be? Price is starting $225,000. So those are my questions. Where are people going to park? That's my main question. And are they all going to be designed like this? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of the public comments for that.
Is there a response, Mr. Evans, at this point, or the architects as it relates to parking?
We can respond. I'll start, and the architect may want to finish. That's a modern design, and we think that it would fit into the neighborhood and set a new standard for the area. And it's very popular all around the country, starting in California originally, but it's been actually becoming very widely used. The parking, we have both visitor parking and the required parking for the units. And Jay, if you just want to go ahead and describe the parking
Sorry,
arrangements.
I'm having some hearing issues. What is the question again?
Describe the parking arrangements both for visitors and the number
The parking's based on the current code requires 2 spaces per unit. Other than that, we provided overflow parking. Can I go back to the slide? We provided 9 overflow parking spots, 54 for the units with 9 overflows, 63 total, I believe. Is that correct? These areas here are the overflow parking. You got 1 to the north, 1 here to the south.
Any further questions or comments from the commission? All righty. That concludes our regular agenda. Are there any items tabled?
We still have item number 10.
Oh, item 10. Apologize. Moving on.
It's approval of the Board of Commissioners to authorize issuance of a request for qualifications for grant writing continuing services.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and properly second.
Commissioner Davis? Oh, do I?
No, not yet. She's going to give her presentation.
Our current grant writer is under contract, and that contract is about to expire. So this item is to approve an RFQ for us to look for a new grant writing firm and offer that opportunity.
Commissioners, very quickly, we're requesting authorization to release a request for qualifications for grant writing services. We would like to solicit qualified firms, and excuse the typo, or individuals to provide grant writing services. This would be for CRA projects, programs, and activities. An item would be brought back to the board in August of 2018. Our timeline is to the right. If this is approved tonight, we'd be able to release the RFQ on May 27th. June 15th would be the final day for responders to submit requests for information. June 25th, proposals would be due no later than 4 o'clock that day. And on July 28th, our evaluation committee would meet and make a selection. And if necessary, we have scheduled a time to have oral interviews prior to the final selection on July 10th. So if there are any questions.
Any questions from the commission?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller-Anderson.
I was looking at the proposed terms of the 3 years, and unless I overlooked it, I was trying to find out, because one of my concerns had been in the past was that we weren't really seeing as much success with obtaining as many grants, but yet we were still, paying. Will it be a commission base? I know last time I asked that question, they said people don't really do that anymore. However, I think it's a waste of money to just be paying someone and they're not producing. So was that stated in here, or what are we thinking in terms of the contract?
We're thinking that we would have professional service agreements with the selected firm or firms or individual, and then we would move forward with a particular firm or individual on an as-needed basis. We'll negotiate, what the fee is, and we would move forward on an as-needed basis. We're not suggesting that we do a retainer-type agreement this time out.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. Are you going to be able to advertise and promote this deal here? Because I know Council Pro Tem Hubbard is always concerned, interested, and rightfully so about the community knowing about it. So will you be able to get this on any of the minority-owned stations or managed stations, radio stations, and how are you going to promote it in those circles?
We would use every outlet, and we'll take your suggestions about radio stations. We generally don't list RFQs necessarily on a radio station, but that might be an idea. We do website. We use our contact database. We would send this RFQ to known grant writers that we've come across over the years. We would send it to partners. We would load it up to Demand Star. Firstly, it would be published in the Palm Beach Post. We send it to all of you and ask you to circulate it to your contacts in your database. We would share it with the purchasing department for the city. It would be on the city, the CRA's website, etc. So we make every effort to get this out.
And some of the radio stations that I'm familiar with would probably do a PSA, which you wouldn't even have to pay for it, just be a public service announcement.
We would certainly do that.
And get with me and I'll try to hook you
I
up.
would certainly do that, so
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Were there any other questions? I did have a question. Under the cone of silence, the language says, as of August 10, 2010, no entity filing a response. Is that a date that you put your cone of silence language in place?
I believe that is, well, that's the date that we've always referred to. I'll ask Mr. Hagood because it's the cone of silence date. It refers to the
August 10th, 2010
ordinance.
date. Is that what that is? It's referring back to the ordinance?
Yes. And that's included in, or should be in all of our solicitations.
Any response?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
On page 11 of the proposed, of the draft contract, under section 1-14, cone of silence for grant writing.
The cone of silence on the procurement code says that once the RFP or the request solicitation is out, there's no other communications with any.
Right. I'm just asking about the date that I see here in front of it as it relates to the cone of silence.
She's asking where did we get the date from?
Yeah, that must have been taken from another solicitation because it's as of the date.
Of the solicitation.
Right.
Okay. So we'll just clean that up.
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Hubbard?
Only when you're done. I'm done. So May 27th, would that be when the cone of silence kicks in?
Yes. They
So-
can't contact the board. They can contact staff about questions, but they can't solicit or talk to any of the board members.
So today is,
May 23rd.
It's whenever the RFP
so we got
action.
so in 4 days, this will go out. We won't have any time to engage the public or the locals, so they will know that this is out there.
Not individually.
No, we will do that.
I understand that. What I was talking about, the number of days. There's only 4 days before the.
No, I understood what you were saying. I was talking about the amount of time or what we could do.
Yeah, we could set whatever date the board preferred.
Yes.
And do you understand what I'm saying? Because once it kicks in on the 27th, if all of us, you included, are trying to fairly distribute the information so that everybody will know that this proposal is hitting the streets, unless they're watching this program tonight, then they won't know. Well, outside of what, the efforts and the venues that you're going to deliver the message in. I just think that we need to push it back a little bit because it's, someone might miss and think that it's not a genuine effort, if you will.
Madam Chair? Madam Chair?
Commissioner Miller Anderson.
Well, can we just suggest the date? You have a date that you want to do, maybe a month or so?
I think we should let staff go back and look at the date
Is
and
there some pressing
work
though?
work backwards.
Is there a pressing date that we're trying to?
We were trying to go through this process so that we would not hopefully be without grant writing services.
When does the
August.
grant writing contract expire?
It expires, I believe, August 30th.
Yeah, the end
It's
of
the end of August.
Right.
We could change to the first week in June if that's better for the board to the issuance date.
It's only like a week.
A week and 4 days. I think we just should make it at least 2 weeks,
Extend it by
We
That would
could-
be June
we could
11th.
adjust the timeline.
But
Yeah.
That
the
would be
issue
June
is how long it's going to be on the street for people to respond. Well, the date you want to adjust is the date that it's to submit proposal due. So your proposal on due is June 25th.
No, we're talking about the submission. We're talking about the actual submission date, pushing that back to allow for sufficient time to advertise it.
Right, but the
Is that not what the board is discussing?
No.
What are you then?
We were talking about May 27th. That's when the code of silence will kick in, because that will be when the RFQ is on the street. So what I was saying, based on the presentation with Ms. Jenkins, we were talking about getting it out to the community so that they would know that this was available. Now, by May 27th, we cannot do that because the cone of silence will have kicked in, and we would not have had time to put it in the church or the, different places that we might be able to generate some local participation. So what I was saying is that, it'll be, even if we took another 7 days on that, if we can't take a total of 14 days and be done by the time the August 30th, deadline kicks in. So
You're suggesting to adjust the timeline, but adjust the May 27th date and move it forward 7 days.
Yes, that's my biggest concern, not being able to go out and legally talk to people, that we have opportunities on the street that they might want to avail themselves of.
I think I understand. And may I ask if you're comfortable with the open period that the RFQ is on the street, the month?
Well, it seems to me that if you are pushing back the May 27th date, every date thereafter should be pushed back if we are looking to have it on a specific amount of time to have the document on the street. So everything should, if we're going to go 5 additional days or 7 additional days, everything will then be pushed back 7 additional days to accommodate that.
I think I understand that, but my question is from, let's say we move it to June 5th, and then the response date is due July 4th, to give it 30 days to be open. Are you comfortable with the 30?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So whatever that pushback is, 30 days is what it should be.
I think we can do that. So we'll adjust it, and we'll get the information to you so that you can share it with your networks as well, and we'll make every effort, meet with the mayor and get his contact information to let people know that the opportunity is there. So thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any public comment cards?
No, Madam.
Okay. Any further comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Davis?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Botel?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hubbard?
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Well, that concludes the regular agenda. There are no items tabled, you said. Receipt of public comment cards. Public comment should be restricted to issues, matters, or topics pertinent to the Riviera Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. Please be reminded that the CRA Board of Commissioners has adopted rules of decorum governing public conduct during official meetings, which has been posted at the entrance of the council chambers. In an effort to preserve order, if any of the rules are not adhered to, the commission chair may have any disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium, from the meeting, and or the building if necessary. Please govern yourself accordingly. Madam Clerk?
Bonnie Larson and then J.B. Dixon.
I'm going to go back to some of my questions earlier tonight because I didn't really understand the response. My question was about the underground placement of the cables for the AT&T, etc. Are those pipes or channels or whatever they are they under the sidewalks now? Have they been put under the sidewalks already? That's my question. I didn't quite understand your response to that. There was a problem, something with Viking. They didn't want you to put something on their property. That was a big problem. How was that resolved? Those big metal boxes that they put when they do underground cables, how many of those every so many feet, how many feet are those apart, and where are those going to go? So those are my questions. Because I saw Comcast, getting back to that also, Comcast, shouldn't they be paying us for the favor of putting their stuff underground? Because that helps them. And I saw them doing it from Blue Heron north, not Blue Heron south. I saw them doing it north. But my question is, do we have our cables or lines or pipes, whatever they are, do we have them under the sidewalks now to put the things that we need, Florida Power and Light, et cetera? And also getting back to that, the complex we talked about, the Villas of Salona. This is we talked about our codes being out of date. This concept of having 2 parking spaces per 1,400 or 1,500 square foot house or apartment or whatever, that is from the 1950s. You got a husband and wife, hopefully they're both working. Okay, if they're both working, they got 2 cars. One's gonna be in front of their front window and one's gonna be blocking their front door. Those are the 2 cars there. Now you have the kids in the other bedrooms. Where are their cars gonna go? So the response to that was there are 63 total for the 28 units. That is like nothing. And also there were 9 overflow spaces. So you got 28 units, but only 9 of those residents can have 1 visitor, 1 car, 1 visitor. So shouldn't we think about, when we do projects like this, shouldn't we think about fewer units and more parking? Because parking is always a problem. You got a 3-bedroom, 1,500 square foot unit and only 2 parking spots, one of which is blocking your front door. So I think we need to get with our parking, and if we're building something new, let's make it right this time, and let's fix that 1950 code, because that's way out of date, 2 cars per 1,500 feet. Thank you.
Thank you.
J.B. Dixon, followed by Margaret Shepard.
Ms. Dixon, you have a very colorful hat tonight.
I'm J.B. Dixon. I live at 3000 North Ocean Drive, Singer Island, Riviera Beach. I've never been to a CRA meeting before nor watched one, so it's been very interesting for me. I came here because I did participate in a CRA workshop on design for murals that are being planned in the city, in 4 different sites in the city, and found that process very interesting, and there's going to be another one, a second one next week. So it was nice to come to this meeting and hear some very positive things, because I'm not used to a lot of that. And it seems very exciting, some of the plans that you have. On the subject of the mobile marine center and the plans to have a largely educational complex as opposed to a tourist attraction, I was a little disappointed in that, because I've been trying to think, business is my main goal for the city, is to attract other businesses and to have a thriving business community, because I think that drives so much else of the success of the city. And I was trying to think of things that would draw tourists, because we now have a second large ocean liner coming in here with another, 50,000 people or something a year. And I kept thinking, what do we have for the crew of those boats and for the tourists who are coming in to go out on those boats and coming back? Usually those boats have extensions at additional costs, where, you send a little shuttle over to the boat and take you somewhere. And why should we let all of those people go to Loggerhead in Jupiter and to the Flagler Museum on Palm Beach Island and then down to West Palm? I kept thinking, what do we have here that would help our businesses or create a business to serve that market? And it seems to me that something like an aquarium would be an excellent thing to do. And looking at the plan, it looks as though at one point there was more of a plan to make that not just for children. I mean, I know that we have 2 educators sitting up there who are all for the educational component. I really think that Riviera Beach needs a tourist attractions. And I was thinking that if we had those attractions, we could work with the cruise line to offer them a package, send a shuttle there, etc. So I would just ask if the CRA, in dealing with that company, that nonprofit who wants to come in, might revisit the possibilities of how, aside from the educational component, there might be a tourist component to that. I think when you look at children who have never been in the water or are afraid of the water, we forget that many of their parents have never been in the water, are afraid of what's in the water, etc. And so I think
Point of
that...
order, Madam Chair.
Ms. Dixon?
Pardon me?
I need you to wrap up your 3 minutes.
Oh,
are
I'm
over.
sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I hope that we have a tourist attraction in that.
Thank you.
Margaret Shepard, followed by Willis Williams.
Margaret Shepard. For this is the best city to live, work, and play.
Good evening, Ms. Shepard.
Good evening to everyone, to the executive director and to Mrs. Jenkins and to the entire staff over at the CRA and CDEC. We personally want to thank this particular entity, CDEC, BB&T, for coming in and just showing out and showing us they can do and they will do. We thank this city for their donations. Back again, because we already had the groundbreaking. And on June the 2nd, we shall and will do the ribbon cutting. Time is 11 to 3. We will be serving hot dogs, hamburgers, and chips with water. We ask you to come out and celebrate. And if you were there, we celebrated with the Davis family. Somebody said, how many chairs? 25? I said, oh no. The Davis family, well over, I wouldn't say thousands, but they have a lot of the Davis family. So please come out. They're coming from Ocala, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and we want to show Mr. Willie Bo Davis that this city not only respect him, but we want them to know that we are here for them at any time. The meditation garden is going up, and we do need help to put the finishing touches on. Dennis and Mr. McCullough have been working overtime. I think on Saturday they said, who was that coming in? Christ Fellowship, how could I forget that, will be coming in. And of course, I love to plant the garden. Dennis kind of gave me a few hints of some secrets. I won't tell you my secrets, but my garden and my plants are just growing. I tell you, I'm so proud of Margaret. Let me pat myself on the shoulder, because I know nothing about planting, but I'm getting there. Once again, we want to thank the city for all that you have done for the Lindsay Davis. Please come out and enjoy us. I think we're into like a little over 125 senior citizens that's on call with our red shirts. So please come out, be a part of us. Please come out and enjoy us. But most of all, I'm calling about the yard sale we're having on the 16th of June from 7 a.m. until the sun get hot. If you would like, this will be our first fundraiser. We don't want people just continue to give us money, but we want to show you that we can work. Now those size 12s that you have, and you're now a 24, we're going to ask you to come. Those size 5s that you are wearing and you up to a 12 and a half, please come. The Louis Vuittons that you know, please come out and share with us. As I say, it's $20 the vendor. Please come out and support who? The Lindsay Davis Garden. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Jenkins, for your undying respect for us, and thank you, all of you, for putting in your time to make this a success. Once again, thank you.
Willis Williams.
Good evening. Willis Williams, Riviera Beach. It's been some time since I got a chance to speak here, but this is just a point of information. Some time ago, the city acquired properties here to the the north of us, around Suncoast, and I keep hearing about development, and I'm just wondering where we are. Riviera Beach is the only municipality in the county that doesn't have a community high school. And there has been, before Mr. Superintendent Avosa left, there was money supposed to have been put back on the drawing board or put back on the construction table to go forth with that. So before a lot of this building, I need to know, I think the board needs to know, where are we with the monies that, first of all, that were allocated and then got kicked off to the construction and sent to Boca, and find out where we are with putting that monies back on and doing the community high school here in Riviera Beach, because there is talk about that. So I'm just hearing about this project here now, and I know all that property was torn down for this community school to go up. So before a lot of this is taking place, I think we all need to take a step back and find out where we are with the school board and this stuff that was happening sometime before a lot of you were even around, and find out what's happening with that. The other thing is, I agree wholeheartedly with the lady in the red hat. We need to start generating some money in here. A long time ago, we did start talking about an aquarium on that south end, and so she's absolutely right. We get tired of giving away stuff. It's time to get some money back in here now. The other thing, I was visiting a friend of mine the other week out at the National Village, and there was a waste management truck with a driver with a receipt book collecting cash for trash that was being picked up. So maybe you would have someone check that out, find out why driver would be collecting fees from homeowners who says that they had too much trash out. Thank you.
Thank you. Does that conclude public comments?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Mr. Willis, we will follow up with Dr. Furnoy in the school district on any plans that they have, and we will certainly inquire about the waste management issue that you've brought to our attention. Report of the executive director.
I would just like to add that we have, remind the board, we have a few upcoming events. We have the Bike and Build, which was mentioned earlier, on Monday, May 28th, and that starts at 8 a.m. at 625 West 3rd Street. We have our Public Art and Design Workshop, and that will be taking place, that's our second workshop, and it'll be in our Clean and Safe office, which is on Blue Heron Boulevard. That's on Tuesday, May 29th. That starts at 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Our Gulfstream Cinema is on Friday, June 1st. So that starts at 7 p.m. and that's on the event terrace at our Marina Event Center. And we are having our Business Watch meeting at our Clean and Safe office on Tuesday, June 12th, and that's from 6 to 7 p.m. for all business owners located in the Broadway and Blue Heron corridor and throughout the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of General Counsel.
I don't have anything this evening.
Discussion of the board, starting with the mayor. Any comment? Mr. Mayor, any comment?
That's what I thought you said too.
Starting with the mayor.
Okay.
Starting with me.
Yeah, what it sound
Starting with
like.
the mayor.
Thank you. I'll try to be as brief as possible. We're having our annual the city of Riviera Beach will once again embrace our annual salute to Memorial Day. It will be conducted here at the flags with the soldiers and the honorary squad. And that's Saturday before Memorial Day at 11 a.m. Also, the mayor has been conducting, will continue to conduct Facebook Live in order that the public in Riviera Beach, as well as Palm Beach County, can benefit from the issues as well as the candidates that are running for office. And today we interviewed two candidates that are running for the different judge seats. And of course, we'll be doing Maxine Chisholm. We've done the Board of Education candidates with Dr. Robertson and Dr. Ferguson and a host of others. However, we're going to be changing the guard to deal with issues that are relevant to the residents of Riviera Beach, pro and con. We'll be dealing with the recall issue, pro and con. If you know someone who's against or for, please let us know, because we want both sides to be presented. We'll be dealing with public transportation in Riviera Beach. We'll be dealing with school safety, pro and con for metal detectors. We'll be dealing with the warehouse, which is also known as a public safety building, and what should be done with it, and what should be done with the buildings here, pro and con. We'll also be dealing with the decorum of the council / freedom of speech, because sometimes it can cross the line as the public relates to freedom of speech. And also how to better streamline the public meetings, and we'll be dealing with neighborhood beautification. These are some of the issues that we'll be dealing with, pro and con, or at least getting feedback from the public on both sides of the issue. So please tune in, and we're trying to do it every other night, 7 p.m., Facebook Live, Mayor Thomas A. Masters page. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Hubbard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to let the residents and the businesses know that we are still asking the businesses in Riviera Beach and the surrounding areas to join us in hiring at least one youth this summer in your business, helping us to put the youth of Riviera Beach back to work.
Commissioner Miller-Anderson?
None at this time.
Commissioner Botel?
Just another reminder that May 29th is that workshop on the murals in Singer Island at the Ambassador Center.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis?
Thank you. And once again, on behalf of peace and working together, I would like to encourage all those at home to continue to remain positive in this city, no matter what folks from the outside to continue to promote. We would like to make sure that we remain focused on all the initiatives that's been discussed today in this CRA meeting. Scott, Mr. Evans, you and Ms. Jenkins have done a wonderful job of providing essential workforce housing for our community, providing opportunity for those who have home ownership. That is very important, and I commend you for what you've done. We also had today, I'd like to say thank you for what you've been doing with our creative station with our youth. These are things that have been taking place not just this year, but for quite some time. And I want to continue to encourage you that we will continue to, as a board, to support you in that initiative. That is important. Our youth and our community deserve those great stories to continue to be promoted within our own selves if we choose to do so. Congratulations to all the high school, middle school, elementary school, and daycare graduates. We're approaching the summer, and we have a lot of kids, young people who are transitioning to the next stage of adulthood. Please reach out to the city manager's office. As you can see, Councilperson Commissioner Hubbard has stated that her workforce program for the summer still is open. So please reach out, call our office, and find out in the commission office. I'm sure someone will direct you in the right direction to make sure that you have an opportunity to work this summer. We want to keep that going. So we got the graduates. And today we had JFK Civic class of about 90 students over at the marina. And the students did a wonderful job with Ms. Dana Nottingham as we talked about leadership. We talked about STEM. We talked about Peanut Island. We talked about our area, Riviera Beach, and this ecosystem, and all the benefits that we can do to create an opportunity for them. They stayed and spent the entire day, and they did a wonderful job with creating a plan that they can submit to the council and the CRA of some of the things they would like to be a part of and push and ask for us to support them in what they're doing. So we got the JFK Inlet Grove. Once again, thank you and congratulations.
Suncoast is graduating tomorrow, too.
Yes, I was saying congratulations to all the students. And once again, like I say, no matter what goes on, always stay positive, be careful what you listen to, and do your own research and stay focused on the better part of Riviera Beach. Because those that choose not to be better, don't let them drag you down as you try to strive to do good for this community. Remember, always give back.
Thank you. This has just been a wonderful day of showcasing the students. We had the students from the Creativity Station. We also had students that were here from the Mr. Nottingham's program, but also today at Washington Elementary School, they had their career day. And it was just a wonderful experience to sit and to have such impressionable minds inquiring about the work that we do. And we need to make sure that we are preparing them as they move forward, because they certainly are our future here in the city. And with that being said, there's no further business. We stand adjourned. We will recess for 5 minutes and reconvene for our budget workshop.